Diddy has been linked to multiple deaths, most notably those of Tupac and Biggie, but new evidence suggests that he ordered the murder of Shaq. What was Diddy's reason for making this statement? Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we'll be looking at Shaq speaks on Diddy's attempt to sacrifice him due to jealousy. Yeah, you heard it right. Gene Deal is referring to a man who had a significant dispute with Shaq. The man was the vice president of Def Jam, and he allegedly learned that Shaq had been eyeing his wife and hyping her up in typical Shaquille O'Neal fashion. Because of what Shaq was doing to him and his wife, this man, who was tremendously sad and emotionally devastated, wanted to commit suicide. The woman in question was Shawnee, who would subsequently marry Shaq to Mr. Vice President's dismay. From the perspective of many, Shaq's strategy appeared harsh and heartless. He was aware that the woman was married, and many people feel he used his riches and status to influence Shawnee to pursue him. Listen to what Gene Deal has to say about the whole situation. Clearly, Shaq's efforts were successful, as the woman consented to marry him immediately and ultimately chose him. The insulted man in this situation was obviously disturbed and despondent, so he sought Puff Daddy's advice on what to do. According to Gene Deal, the man was so miserable that he contemplated suicide, and he spoke of wanting to do it. On paper, therefore, Diddy's advice appears to be quite helpful and sincere. He tells the man to consider his options and not take his own life, which is something you may need to hear if you're in a desperate situation. In that circumstance, that was the correct thing for Diddy to say. You may be thinking, but what he says next will take your breath away, and even Gene can't help but chuckle and be amazed. Thus, in a shocking turn of events, she urged the man to concentrate his fury against Shaq since the news broke. This has angered a great number of people, and it only heightened their concerns in the eyes of a number of individuals. Diddy's allegedly volatile behavior is further implicated by his encircling. Even Gene Deal was stunned when he learned that the man had been crying and pouring his heart out to Puff, and that Puff had responded. The man had no choice to accept his fate, and did Shaq get away with stealing another man's wife? Shaq's errors would come back to haunt him, as the lady he stole from another guy would also cheat on him. Several times, Shaq has been accused of cheating on Shawnee. In 2008, however, it became clear that Shaq was not the only cheater the couple was married. Shawnee had at least 3 extramarital romances while she was married to Shaq. One of these men attempted to extort $400 million from the NBA legend's heirs. Robert Ross, the business manager for Shaquille O'Neal, is also a music producer. Common friends introduced them to one another. Ross submitted a police report in 2008 stating that the NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal had a gang of men kidnap and assault him in order to coerce him into revealing the location of the NBA star's sex tape. Moreover, Ross claimed to have had an affair with Shaq's wife. Shaq hired a private investigator to investigate his claims, and the investigator agreed to do so. Shawnee's relationship with Shaq was not an isolated incident. She dated a Miami trader 10 years her junior, in addition to a lawyer. Russ was a close personal friend and confidant of O'Neal, according to the lawsuit, and the former Lakers center befriended him despite his criminal record and history with the Main Street Crips. Ross asserted that O'Neal intended to have him kidnapped, assaulted, robbed, and intimidated due to O'Neal's irrational jealousy and worried that the sex tape would become public. Ross told law enforcement in court that he never possessed a tape of O'Neal, and then lied about the tape to obtain the money he believed he was owed from the record agreement. During their friendship, the NBA player allegedly pleaded with Ross to kill a lady that he had impregnated, a record producer, a gang member who had humiliated him, and an NBA player's shooting arm. According to the lawsuit, Ross sought to extort money from Shaq in order to keep the incident quiet, but his efforts were ineffective. Shaq was found not guilty on all charges, and Ross was deemed a hardened criminal. Shaq, though, was not totally immaculate. According to rumors corroborated by Shaq, the reason Shawnee and Shaq broke up was that they were both unfaithful. Shaquille O'Neal stated on his podcast, The Big Podcast with Shaq, that he was a serial adulterer who neglected his children. When allegations of an affair between the head coach of Boston Celtics, Madoka, and a team staff member, as well as Adam Levine's DMs to model surfaced, there was much outrage. Despite ending infidelity against his ex-wife Shawnee Henderson, O'Neal was probed about it. O'Neal stated that he would refrain from criticizing him. "I was a repetitive cheater." O'Neal stated that it would be insane and heretical for me to say boom at this location. "I cannot do it since I know these individuals personally. I know what they're going through because I've been there, done that, and been the best at it. But I'm not proud of it. I lost my family because of it. I missed critical years with my children as a result." O'Neal and Shawnee have 2 children, a son named Sheriff and a daughter named Ambra. Following their 2002 wedding, they had 2 additional children, a male named Shakir and a daughter named Mara, the daughter from Tahara O'Neal's previous relationship and the other son of Ma while Shawnee have both adopted the surname O'Neal. O'Neal and Shawnee divorced in 2009 after separating in 2007 and reconciling in 2008. O'Neal remarked on his podcast that the first time he saw his children was one of the pleasures of his life. So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so that you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section down below. Stay tuned, and we'll catch you in the next video.